characters, incidents, names, and situations used in this story are fictitious. The resemblance to any person living or dead is purely coincidental. The following video contains some horror elements and suitable for a mature audience, 16 plus. This channel and video is not for kids.
Hello friends, I am Aryan and welcome to our channel Midnight Horror Stories, where you get to hear true and scary ghost stories. In our channel, you will get to hear true and scary stories every Tuesday and Saturday. But before starting the story, all the friends who have come to this channel for the first time, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the story, then definitely introduce yourself in the comment section. Then let's do not take much time and start our story quickly. Friends, today's story is about a boy from Himachal whose name is Dinesh. So let's now hear this story from Love Kash's point of view. Hello friends, my name is Dinesh and I am from Himachal. Today I want to tell you such a true incident of my life, after listening to which all of you will also be forced to think that even a small mistake made unknowingly can prove to be fatal for us, which we can never imagine. Sometimes we do something that we do not even realize how big a mistake we have made, and by the time we come to know about it, it is too late and perhaps we have to pay a very heavy price for that mistake. Sometimes we may even have to pay the price for that mistake by giving our lives. Something similar happened to me. I was studying in a PG hostel. We were 4 friends, Manish, Kamal, Satish and me. All 4 of us were very good friends and were preparing for the competition while staying in PG. By the way, we also studied college together. Our family lived in the village because we used to go from the village. The 4 of us used to tell each other about our village. So once Manish asked all of us to go to his village. We also agreed. Then we decided that whenever we get a chance, all 4 of us will go to our respective villages for a few days. So first of all, we went to Manish's village. Meet his family there, it felt really good. His family was very good. We stayed there for 5 days and then returned. Then he started his studies. After that, we were going to Kamal's village. Kamal was very good at reading. He had a cheerful nature. But in his family, his father loved him very much. His grandparents were also very loving. But his mother, who was not his real mother, was his stepmother. Because when Kamal was 2 years old, his mother was bitten by a similar poisonous insect and died before she could be taken to the hospital. So Kamal's family members looked at Kamal, and Kamal's father was not even very old. That's why Kamal's father got married again. His stepmother who was there did not like Kamal at all, because of which most of the Kamal did not go to his village. His grandparents, his dad all called him, but then for some reason or the other, he would refuse. This time at our behest, and then Kamal's family members were also calling him, so Kamal got ready to go to the village. But he asked all of us to go along, because he said that if he goes, he will be able to live like that after listening to his stepmother's taunts. If you come with me, I will also be interested. Hearing this, we all left for Kamal's village the very next day. When we reached Kamal's village, it was really a pleasure to meet his grandparents and his father. They were all very good. We talked with love. As soon as we left, Kamal's grandmother called out and asked his stepmother to bring tea for us. And within a short time, a woman who was around 45 years old brought tea. Her view. I felt a little weird. The height was also not much. The color was also dark and the features were not good. It looked a little scary. She looked at us angrily, but she didn't say anything. By the way, Satish was a bit of a funny type among the 4 of us friends, and whatever was said, he would say it on his face. In such a situation, seeing Kamal's stepmother, Satish whispered in my ear, "Man, this seems to be a true witch. What should Kamal do now after coming to the village? Look how they look, as if it would eat us alive." So when I heard this, I spoke softly. "Shut up, man. You don't talk about anyone like that." Kamal's stepmother gave him tea and left. She didn't say anything to me, and there was no smile on her face. Now we were talking to Kamal's family members. His stepmother would look at us angrily whenever she saw us. Looking at him, it seemed as if he didn't like our arrival at all. By the way, it was now around 8 p.m. It was dark all around.
We were all talking when I got up and went to the bathroom on the side of the house to go to the toilet. When I was coming back from the toilet, I was looking at some messages on my phone. In such a situation, I did not pay attention and collided with the mother of the lotus coming from the front, due to which there was a small earthen pot in her hand which fell down and broke. Seeing this, she looked at me angrily. Then my eyes went to the broken pot. There was some weird stuff in it. Some vermilion, Molly's thread, leaves, etc. I was a little surprised to see this. She looked at me angrily and picked up all the belongings and left from there, staring at me. So, It was quickly out of there. Seeing all that, I ignored those things. Didn't pay much attention. After that, when the food was ready, we all ate together. After eating, they sat and chatted with Kamal's grandparents for some time. Then Kamal's father asked us to stay in the room on the terrace. It was a very large room. Let's say there was a kind of hole. We all went there. Keep your bags. It had 5 beds. So we all lay down to sleep on them. They were talking to each other. That's when Satish, Kamal, he started making fun of his stepmother. Seeing this, Kamal said, "Shut up. I don't want to spoil my mind by talking about him." So after hearing this, no one talked about it anymore. Anyway, we came in tired. So while talking, at about 11 p.m., we fell into a deep sleep. When we were sleeping, suddenly I found the toilet at night and I left my room and went to the bathroom on the side in a corner of the terrace. So I saw his stepmother standing from the garden in front of Kamal's house. Seeing this, I wondered what it was like here at the moment. Then the thought maybe that you are not sleeping. That's why she must have come out and sat in the garden. Thinking of this, he ignored this. Anyway, I was a little sleepy at that time, so I didn't pay much attention to these things, and after toileting, I came back and slept in my room. The next morning, we all woke up and went to visit Kamal's village. His village was situated at the foot of a mountain. There was also a forest nearby. It was a very beautiful village. We walked merrily and talked to each other. We were walking around the village, and that's how we reached the forest. Then Manish said, "Man, I should go to the toilet." Saying this, he looked around, and in front of him, he saw a peepal tree which was green from below but completely dry on top. Seeing the opportunity there, Manish went there and started doing toilets. Then seeing him, Kamal also went there and started toileting. Then we heard a voice. We looked behind us and saw an old man standing there. He looked at us angrily and said, "What are you doing?" Hearing this, Kamal probably knew the old man. That's why he said, "Oh Kaka, nothing." So the old man angrily said, "You are Manohar's son, aren't you?" Hearing this, Kamal said, "Yes." So the man said angrily, "I don't even have the brains that a peepal tree should not be toileted like this. It is so sacred to us." Hearing this, we looked at each other. Then looking at the old man, Kamal said, "Excuse me." Saying this, he pointed at us and we quickly left from there. Then Satish said, "Yaar, who was he?" So Kamal said, "Nothing. There is a man from our village. Some worship more. He does and always does such things as good and bad. The people of the village call him crazy. Now leave these things." Saying this, we left from there. After roaming all day, he returned home in the evening. At the behest of Kamal's grandmother, Kamal's stepmother arranged food for us. She was just staring at us strangely, but she didn't say anything. Then Satish whispered in my ear, "Yaar, you look like a witch, but the food is excellent." Hearing this, I showed him the eye and asked him to keep quiet. Then we ate and went to our rooms. I came in. We were sitting in our room talking to each other when we heard a sound outside the room like someone walking on the roof. We could hear him walking clearly. Hearing this, we thought that maybe someone from Kamal's house must be there. Then when the sound started getting louder, I got up and came out and saw that no one was there. But Kamal's stepmother was sitting alone in the courtyard of the house. When my eyes went to him, he stared at me in such a way that for a moment I was scared. Now I started thinking that this garden will also be there tomorrow. I was standing there and is still sitting in the garden. Suppose she must have eaten now, but yesterday, around 12 a.m., she was standing in the garden. It's also weird. Thinking of this, he didn't pay much attention to this and came back to the room. When I went and told everyone that there was no one outside, Kamal said, maybe there is someone on the neighboring roof. There is a lot of silence at night, so it seems as if someone is on our roof. Hearing this, we said yes, maybe, and didn't pay much attention to it. Then we talked like this about the night. Fell asleep around 11 a.m. While we were fast asleep, I heard someone coming into the room. It was like someone in the room was walking around us. Realizing this, my eyes opened in a panic. I saw that there was a feeling of someone being in the room. It was as if someone was in that room other than us, but I couldn't see it. Seeing this, at first I thought that maybe it was an illusion of the mind. So he closed his eyes and fell asleep again. After some time, there was a loud knocking sound of the window of the room, and sometimes the door of the room, there was a knocking sound. As soon as we heard this sound, everyone woke up in a hurry. Now, we were both nervous looking at each other. Then I opened the window and looked out. The weather outside was bad and there was nothing. So I looked at everyone and said, "Nothing, man, the weather is bad outside." Saying that, I lay down again to sleep with everyone. But I was thinking that the weather outside was bad, but the way the knock on the door and the window sounded, like a human had hit them. Knocked. However, then I thought that maybe my mind would be delusional, so I didn't pay much attention to this and went to sleep. After some time, I felt as if I could hear a lot of crows chattering outside our room. At first, I ignored these things because I was sleepy.
But when those voices started to be heard very loud, the window of the room opened with a loud noise. Hearing and seeing this, we were all woken up in a hurry. We saw that the sound of crows was heard outside continuously. We were shocked and upset to see it. I didn't understand anything, that it was a bit surprising to hear the sounds of crows like this at night. Then Satish looked at Kamal and said, "Man, Kamal, what kind of village is this? Even at night crows speak here. It looks like the whole procession of crows is sitting right in front of our room and waiting for their bride along with their food." Hearing this, Kamal said, "I see." As soon as Kamal opened the door, the entire community attacked him simultaneously. Terrified to see this, we were all there, but they ran. With great difficulty, he rescued Kamal and closed the door of the room. However, Kamal was very nervous because of what had happened. Suddenly, we did not feel right about this kind of crows attacking at night. Then we thought that maybe some crows had come from somewhere. Thinking of this, we lay down to sleep again. But everyone was a little nervous. Slowly we fell asleep, and that is how the night passed. The next morning, I was a little nervous remembering the things that had happened that night. At first, we thought that all the family members will tell. But then I thought about what to tell about such a thing. Kamal also refused that his family would also be upset unnecessarily after hearing these things. So we didn't tell anyone anything, and after eating dinner, we went out to roam the village again. Now, when we went to visit the village, it felt like there was someone else who was walking with us. We had the feeling of walking with someone else, but no one was visible. In such a situation, sometimes we would think that there was an illusion of the mind, and sometimes there would be a little nervousness. It was slowly evening, and we sat on a hill. Then a terrifying scream was heard from behind. It was such a terrible sound, as if someone had shouted so loudly. Nervous to hear this, we looked around but saw no one. Then Manish said, "There is nothing, man. It seems to be an illusion of our minds." Anyway, it's getting dark now. Then Kamal said that Grandpa will scold, "Let's go home." Hearing this, we said, "Yes." Now we were about to leave from there when we heard the terrible sound of someone shouting again. So we were a little scared. Then Satish said, "Man, there is no one here on this hill except us. So this is the sound of screaming. How? Is something wrong somewhere?" So I said, "Man, there is nothing wrong. We were just about to know when we heard the terrible sound. It felt like a lot of people were talking at the same time. Sometimes it feels like a lot of people are fighting. Sometimes they are laughing, and sometimes they are saying things." Seeing this, we looked around nervously. Now we were very scared because there was a sound, but no one was visible. So we were about to run away from there when we heard a terrible noise. Stop. Nervous to hear this, we looked around, but there was nothing. Then Satish said, Kamal, I think that someone from your village is deliberately joking with us. Saying this, we were about to leave again when a strong gust of wind came. It felt like a terrible storm was coming. Anyway, when does the weather get bad in the mountainous areas? Nobody can say anything. In such a situation, we started running towards the house. As we started running towards the house, we felt as if someone was running after us, because we could hear him running away. Seeing this, we were even more frightened when we heard a terrible scream in our ears that was very frightening. Now we feel that something is not right here. We ran like crazy and went from there to the house. Now we're home. When we came there, we found Kamal's mother at the door of the house. She stared at us. Seeing him, we hesitated a little for a moment. Then we went inside. She stared at us, but he didn't say anything. Now when he came upstairs quickly, Satish said again in a funny manner, Dude, Kamal, this stepmother of yours is dumb what? Who doesn't say anything? Hearing this, Kamal said, This is not the case. Papa must have told you to shut up, otherwise it will make the lives of other human beings miserable. She speaks so much. Then Manish said there was something strange on that hill. How horrible was it, wasn't it? Saying this, he started panicking. Then Satish said, There was nothing, man. Some people from Kamal's village must be joking with us. Do you think there must be a ghost there? Where is this ghost in today's world? Now I said, Yes, man, that's fine. It says we talked for a while and then went downstairs to eat. Even now, Kamal's stepmother was staring at us like this, so Satish said softly in my ear, Dude, Kamal, we say that there is no ghost in today's world. Seeing the mother of this lotus, it seems that even if there is a witch, she will run away from it. It is intended to eat us. Do you just stare at us whenever they see us? Hearing this, I said, Shut up, man. If you hear it, it won't feel good. Saying this, I silenced him. However, I also felt a little strange, the way Kamal's stepmother was staring at us. But however, after eating in a hurry, we returned to our room and started talking to each other on the terrace above. Then they fell asleep, but Satish and I could not sleep. Both Manish and Kamal were asleep. Now we both thought of taking a little walk outside.
Thinking of this, we were walking on the terrace. Just then, we saw a shadow moving in the courtyard of Kamal's house. When we looked closely, it was Kamal's stepmother, who was sneaking out of the house with a torch in her hand. Seeing him go like this, we wondering where it's going. At that time, he had a small pole in his hand. Stepping hurriedly, she walked into the darkness on the other side of the road. And then, after a while, she came back nervously and went into the room. It didn't feel right for him to go like this and come back. It seemed that there was something black in the lentils. Then Satish looked at me and said, Dude, where is this Kamal's stepmother from? I think something is wrong. Is there any trick on us? Hearing this, I said, No man, this cannot happen. But there is something or the other. Where did it go? Thinking of this, I said again, Oh man, the way I had broken that picture and the way I had seen it in the garden at night, I also told Satish. So after listening to me, Satish said, Why don't we tell Kamal about this? So I said, No man, telling someone unnecessarily will only increase the situation. In such a situation, it is better to remain silent and have gone to some work. What do? Let's go inside. So Satish said, But it is 12:30 in the night and this is something to me. It doesn't feel right. But I took Satish with me to the room. Then we lay down to sleep. However, Kamal's stepmother, leaving the house like this at night and returning after some time did not seem right to me. But still, ignoring this, I fell asleep. While we were sleeping, we suddenly heard the terrible laughter of someone in the room. It's like someone laughing loudly. Hearing this, I opened my eyes in my sleep. Seeing what I saw in front of my eyes, I panicked because my Kamal's stepmother was sitting very close to the bed. She stared at us all. At that time, his face looked very strange and scary. Flustered to see this, I quickly opened my eyes properly.
But now I couldn't see her anywhere. I looked around nervously, but I couldn't really see her anywhere. Seeing this, I was upset at first. I looked at the door which was locked from the inside. So I thought maybe it would be an illusion of the mind. Anyway, the door of the room is locked from the inside. Thinking of this, I fell asleep again. When asleep, I could hear the loud shouts of the same communities again. That sound was heard from outside our room and was so terrifying and scary that all four of us woke up in a panic. We looked at each other. Now Satish looked at Kamal and said, "Dude Kamal, do we take away his bride? These crows who have come here to strike with the entire procession, do not let them sleep peacefully even at night." Hearing this, Kamal looked at him. Then Manish said, "I don't know, man, what is the problem with them? They come to us every day to make sleepless nights." Saying this, we were about to try to sleep again when there was a loud knocking sound of the door and window of the room. Seeing this, we were a little nervous. Then it felt like someone outside the room had screamed horribly. Terrified to hear this, we looked at each other in surprise. Then Satish said, "Dude Kamal, is this your house or some haunted house in which there is a strange house? Events happen every night. Do you ever see crows? Sometimes someone screams?" Now Kamal said, "It's not like that, man. What's in the neighboring house, right? If there is a fight every day, then the sound of shouting will be coming from there." Hearing this, Manish said, "Yes, it can happen." We sat like this nervously for a while. When the crow stopped screaming, we fell asleep again. When we were sleeping, I felt like someone came and sat on my chest, because of which my breath started to get up, then my eyes opened nervously. But no one was seen in the room. That's when I saw that my friends were in the same situation. Everything that happened to me happened to them. Now we're even more surprised. I didn't understand anything. Sometimes I would have thought that there must have been such a confusion, but all four of them may not be confused at the same time. Thinking of this, he tried to sleep again. Slowly, the night passed like this. We were ignoring what was happening to us as such a normal thing. But we didn't know something terrible was going to happen to us, which we never imagined. The next morning, we were all sitting together talking to each other. Now we decided that, by the way, we had seen the mountains, waterfalls, etc. of the village, but he didn't see the whole forest. Why not go back to see that forest? Manish was fond of photography, so he said, "Man, the first day when we went to that side, I forgot to take my camera there. But now let's go again. I'll take some photos too." Hearing this, we said yes, and we went there again. When we reached there, the forest looked completely deserted. It wasn't a big forest, but there was absolute silence. Now we were walking. Manish was doing photography. Then we saw the same peepal tree given. So Manish said that all three of us had gone to urinate on this, and that day Kamal met the man of your village. It was weird, no? Hearing this, Kamal said, "Yes, man, but we should not have urinated on the peepal tree. Come on, nobody. Now let's move on." Now as we started moving forward, we felt as if someone was following us. We could hear the sound of his footsteps. When he was following us from somewhere, Satish said, "Oh man, we are also so timid. I was scared of the dog." Saying this, he looked at the dog and said, "Hey brother, do you want to go with us?"
Saying this, he picked up a stone lying there and drove him away from there. We kept going. We saw a bit of forest and then sat down on a hill that was right next to the forest. Slowly the day had passed. It was evening, but the cold wind was blowing. It was really great weather. That's when we felt like someone else was running up that hill besides us. Someone else is running, but no one was visible. It was getting dark all around when we heard a light coming from one side. It appeared which was coming from near a large stone boulder. We were quite surprised to see that there was finally light on this hill at the edge of the forest. Then Satish said, "Dude, no one's love story is going on?" So Manish said, "Shut up man, let's see what it is." Now we went there quietly. We saw a man dressed in white sitting next to a large rock with his face on the other side. But his back was to us. Her hair was also completely white, coming backwards. Now we look at him and look at each other in surprise. Looked. Then Kamal said, "Who are you, Baba?" As soon as we said this, the man looked at us and we screamed because he was completely white and his eyes were shining white.
It was as if there were two white diamonds attached to the eyes, from which the light was emanating. Now we were trembling when we saw this. At the same time, the man started laughing loudly, making a strange sound when he saw us. Seeing this, we started running away from there. Then the same terrible sound was heard from behind. There is no use in driving away. Stop, wait, go. But we weren't even looking back nervously and started running when suddenly we all fell together, staggering. Seeing this, we panicked and looked up in front of us and saw the same man standing in front of us. It was a bit oddly long. He was around 7 feet and was completely white. He was dressed in white. His hair was white. The pupil of the eye was completely white. He came to us walking like a robot and said, "There is no point in running away." Saying this, his face began to twitch in anger. Now seeing this, we were very scared, and as soon as they started running away from there, it seemed as if we did not have control over our hands and feet. We were running away. There was a stone injury in the legs, but we couldn't stop trying to stop ourselves. At the same time, we were constantly hearing a very strange, horrible sound in our ears, which was very scary. Now all 4 of us were so scared that it seemed as if we were going to fall unconscious. But he wasn't fainting either. They were just running away. As soon as he reached near his house, suddenly, stumbling, we fell. No one had control over our hands and feet anymore. But because of what happened to us, we were very nervous. Then the same Lotus's stepmother was standing at the door. Seeing this, we all started getting angry that I don't know why she keeps staring at us. But the way we fell there, we were hurt even more. We were terrified to see so much happening to us, but now it seemed as if the effect on us had been removed. I couldn't hear the sound in my ears anymore. Even on your hands and feet, now we were in control. We came inside the house. Kamal's grandparents and father were upset to see us hurt. They asked what had happened. So we panicked and said that our hands slipped while climbing a hill, due to which we got hurt. We didn't want to tell them the truth, because we thought maybe they wouldn't believe us. We didn't even eat properly that night. They even asked why we were not eating properly, so we said that there is no hunger like that. Then we go back to They went to sleep in their room. Today, due to nervousness, we were neither able to talk nor were we sleeping. It was too scary. I didn't understand what had happened to us. Still, they consoled each other and said that maybe there was an evil spirit there, because of which all this has happened. I will never forget to go that way. Saying this, he lay down to sleep. But the fear was so great that I couldn't sleep. We had not even slept when a lot of crows came and started screaming in front of the room, just like yesterday. Seeing this, one of us, we were already afraid. Now there was a lot of panic when those crows screamed in a strange way. For about half an hour they shouted, and after that everything fell silent. But we were still very nervous when we heard a strange sound of knocking on the door, sometimes knocking on the window. Seeing this, we were not even brave enough to open them and see if the weather was getting bad or someone. Then it felt like someone outside screamed horribly. Seeing this, our heartbeats increased. Along with his steps to walk out of someone, we could also hear the voice. Due to nervousness, we were neither able to speak to each other, nor did we have the courage to get up and leave. They were just looking at each other nervously. Gradually, when everything calmed down, we dared to close our eyes again and try to sleep, so we were also sleepy. Around midnight when we were sleeping, we heard someone laughing in the room, the same sound we heard on the hill. It was like someone was sitting next to us and laughing. Hearing this, me, Manish and Satish woke up. It was gone, while Kamal was fast asleep.
As soon as we woke up, we saw a woman standing in our room, but his face was on the other side of the wall. We looked at each other nervously and looked at the woman. Before we could say anything, the woman looked at us, and we were shocked. She was Kamal's stepmother. His face looked very scary. It looked completely black in the eyes instead of the pupil. And his teeth, which were on 2 sides, grew larger in no time. He smiled awkwardly. Then she started laughing loudly, and her terrible laughter started echoing all around. It was as if he didn't belong to a woman. The man heard laughing, and then his head was cut off and fell to one side. Seeing this, our breath stuck in our throats. That's when we saw that his head that had fallen down was laughing loudly even after falling down. Seeing this, we were so scared that we could not even scream now. Then his head started laughing as he waved at us in the air. What was going through to us, seeing that horrible scene in front of our eyes? Who better than us could you understand? At that time, it was as if the power of thinking and understanding was gone. Our fart beats were up. We wanted to wake up Kamal, but I don't know what deep sleep Kamal was sleeping in that we couldn't wake him up even if we wanted to. Then suddenly, The 0-watt bulb that was burning in the room suddenly stopped. Seeing this, our hearts were now in our mouths, that now we don't know what will happen. Then, the three of us felt on the throat as if someone had grabbed our throat. Then a terrible sound was heard. "You won't be able to escape from me." "Where was it staying? Go!" Saying this, his angry, terrifying voice echoed all around. Now we were so scared that we fainted on the spot. In the morning, when the three of us regained consciousness, we saw Kamal standing near us in distress. Seeing him upset like this, we could not say anything. Before that, Kamal said, "What happened? Did you three faint?" But after remembering everything that I saw at night, I was very scared. In such a situation, I could not understand anything. Then Satish dared to tell Kamal everything. He told Hirani, "What are you talking about? You guys believe that she is my stepmother? I don't like it, but it doesn't mean that she's a witch." And now Manish said, "We are telling the truth, Kamal. Believe us." But Kamal did not believe us. He said, "Please don't talk to anyone about this at home. He will not like it." Hearing this, we also understood Kamal's problem, so we said that you don't worry. We did not want to live there after what happened to us. Kamal was also upset, thinking that nothing like this had happened to them before, so what is happening to them now? Thinking that, we stepped down from our bed. It felt like something was under us. Nervously, he looked down and hurriedly pulled his legs up again because today the crows were lying dead around our bed. Kamal was also surprised to see that there was nothing like this a while ago. Now we quickly got up and came out panicking. I couldn't understand anything because of the panic. As soon as they came out, we found Kamal's stepmother. Seeing him, our hearts came to our mouths. Without saying anything, she angrily went to our room and started cleaning up. But to our surprise, when she brought the garbage, there was no crow in it. When we saw this, we were very nervous. Now we started taking a bath. Every moment was a strange fear. When we were having breakfast, we said we wanted to go back to the city, but Kamal's family wanted us to stay a little longer. Kamal's grandfather said, "Oh son, talking to you, it's really time. You don't know when it passes." Then Kamal's grandmother said that there was a glow in the house. Now Kamal's father said, "We all want you to stay here. What's the hurry to go back anyway? Suppose you are preparing for the competition, but the exam has already been held, so wait for a few more days." How do we now tell them what is happening to us? Then his grandmother said, "No son, you will have to wait a little longer." We couldn't even refuse and stopped. But today we didn't want to go anywhere. At home they wanted to stay. So we stayed at home. I spent the whole day watching TV and talking. But as soon as he remembered the night, he used to get very scared and start consoling himself. Nothing happened to us at home during the day. In such a situation, we felt that whatever happens, happens only at night. Slowly, night was falling. As darkness began to fall, we began to feel more nervous. We were sitting outside in the courtyard and talking. Then we felt as if someone had called our own name in our ears. As soon as it is realized, nervously we looked around but saw nothing. We were just wondering what was happening when we heard someone laughing horribly in our ears again. The same horrible laugh. Hearing this, we got up nervously and came inside. So Kamal's grandmother said, "What happened, son?" So we couldn't say anything in a panic. At the same time, Kamal's mother was standing far away, staring at us angrily. Now we had some food and came upstairs to the room. As soon as we came upstairs into the room, we heard someone screaming. Nervously, when we looked around, there was a woman sitting in a corner of the terrace crying in a terrible voice. Nervous to see the woman turn her head like a robot with a neatly bent face, we shuddered at her horrible appearance. There was absolutely darkness in her eyes that were bleeding, and it was very scary. That none other, she was Kamal's stepmother. Seeing him, our hearts came to our mouths. Now Kamal was also seeing all this. Nervously together we were thinking, how can that happen? We've just left him down. How can they come up now? Nothing made sense. We panicked and ran back to the room and locked the door properly. At that time, I felt like going to the family and telling all the things. Then there was a scream in the whole room. There was the sound of someone laughing, shouting, crying horribly.
Now, as soon as we started to leave the room, the door of the room also closed with a sound. Scared to see this, we started screaming loudly. Our shouting, hearing the sound of Kamal's family also came running. As soon as they opened the door and saw us scared, they were also shocked and upset. By the way, the sound of screaming was no longer heard in the room. But we were very scared. That's when he asked what happened, so Kamal nervously tried to tell something, but as soon as his voice got stuck in his throat, Satish panicked and said that all this is happening because of him, so I couldn't say anything in panic. Seeing our fear, they said, "Nothing will happen, son, we are here." Saying this, they told us to sleep, but every moment we saw our death in front of our eyes.
Now, seeing our condition, Kamal's grandmother brought us from the temple and put a sandalwood mark on our forehead and tied a sacred thread in our hand and said nothing would happen. Saying this, they also sprinkled Ganga water all around us as they felt that there was some evil force that was chasing us. They were very scared. It was night time, so Kamal's father said that in the morning, we live outside the village and we will go there. They were comforting us by saying that they could tell us, but neither did they know, nor did we know, how much more terrible this night was going to be for us. Now those people were with us in the way Kamal's grandmother had tied a thread on our foreheads. Seeing all this gave us a little courage. We started feeling that maybe nothing will happen to us now, and if Kamal's stepmother is doing all this, then she will not be able to do anything to us. But something was about to happen to us that we never dreamed of. At that time, we fell asleep with everyone nervous. The bed on which we were sleeping, Kamal's father, grandparents, all the beds were laid around them on which they were sleeping. When we slept, then it seemed as if someone was screaming. Suddenly, I woke up to hear this. Then I was surprised to see that we were all sleeping, but there was no Kamal there. I was terrified to not see Kamal anymore. I quickly woke up Kamal's father. He also got upset not seeing Kamal and thought that he had not gone to the toilet somewhere. In this case, finding him. But even after searching the whole house, we could not find the lotus anywhere. So all of us woke up from sleep and were very worried about where the lotus could go. Hearing the sound of searching for the same lotus, Kamal's stepmother, who was sleeping in the other room, came out. She was just staring at us like this, but still didn't say anything. We were very suspicious of him. Then Satish angrily went to Kamal's stepmother and shouted, "Where is Kamal? Tell me, did you do anything to him?" Hearing this, Kamal's stepmother was angry. She looked at us. Then Kamal's father panicked and said, "Son, what has he done?" So Satish cried and told the whole thing. Hearing this, everyone looked at him. When he asked her, she just said, "I don't know. If I was in the room?" Hearing this, now all the housemates started looking for Kamal without paying much attention to him. Because all of a sudden disappearance of Kamal in the night was very upset, and we were just looking for Kamal. But he had no idea where he was. In such a situation, the remaining night went out looking for him. The three of us are also very friends. They were more nervous. But at this time, we were in a very bad condition without seeing our friend. We weren't worried about ourselves and were just looking for him. It was also morning slowly. Kamal's family members asked the neighbors, but there was no trace of Kamal. The people of the village also started helping us now and looking for Kamal. So there was a peepal tree in the forest on which both Kamal and Manish had toileted. The body of Kamal was found under it, and the way his body was found, everyone was very nervous to see it. Our hearts came to our mouths, that at that time we could not even see that the lotus was lying in front of our eyes. The same Manish fainted after seeing all this. With great difficulty, Satish and I managed to hold him crying, because Kamal's corpse was lying in front of our eyes. Looking at him, it seemed that he had been brutally murdered. He has been killed because his throat was badly scratched. Hands and feet were also scratched from various places. It was as if a wild animal had done it all. At that time, seeing Kamal's corpse, Kamal's father started crying loudly and crying. He fell unconscious there. The people of the village took care of them. Then they brought Kamal's corpse, and his grandparents were also crying. There was screaming in the whole house. There was a mourning in the whole village. Everyone had come to Kamal's house. What exactly happened, no one could understand. People were saying that a wild animal had attacked. So everyone was upset, thinking that Kamal was not a child. What did you go to do there at night?
Saying this, people were making up all kind of things. The three of us were very nervous because we understood that whatever evil force she is, she must have taken the lotus with her and she has brutally killed the lotus. Then our eyes went to Kamal's mother, who was just sitting silently in a corner, looking at us as usual, but said nothing. Now our blood boiled. It seemed like they should go and kill him, because we felt that he had killed Kamal. But given the kind of atmosphere that was there at that time, we could not say anything. They were just crying. The death of our friend was so painful that we can't tell. At the same time, we also felt the same way Kamal had died. Somewhere in the same way, whatever evil force it is, it will kill us in the same way. Thinking of this, the heartbeat was bigger. Soon those who were relatives of Kamal in the nearby village also came, who were taking care of Kamal's family members. With great difficulty, he took care of them and performed the last rites of Kamal. After Kamal's death, there was a panic in the entire village. Even in the evening, the sound of the crying of Kamal's family members was echoing all around. With great difficulty, the relatives silenced him. But what was going through his heart, who could understand better than him? Because Kamal was the only son of that house. He was the only heir. What was the reason for their survival was now taken away from them. So no one could understand their suffering, because now he felt like a burden to his life. In such a situation, the relatives with great difficulty forcibly gave a little milk to Kamal's grandparents and put them to sleep by giving them a sleeping pill. Seeing their condition, relatives are also unable to stop their tears. At that time, everyone in the village could not hold back their tears over Kamal's death, and the condition of all three of us had become like crazy. That night we couldn't sleep, because every moment there was a fear. We were just nervously looking around the house. Then we noticed Kamal's mother, who was just sitting silently in a corner, looking at us as usual. It was also a little strange to see what kind of woman she was. So much has happened, but not a tear. At the same time, we had full faith in Kamal's mother that whatever has happened is hers. It has happened because of it. But we had no evidence to prove his truth to everyone.
We didn't sleep until late that night. All the relatives fell asleep. Kamal's mother also lay down in a corner and slept. Then an intoxication engulfed us, and we too fell into a deep sleep in a short time. Around 2 a.m., almost like yesterday, it felt like someone had whispered in my ears, and it was none other than Manish's. It was as if he had cried out in panic to save himself. Hearing this voice, my eyes opened in a panic. When I saw Manish, Manish was not really there. Not seeing Manish, my heart came to my mouth. I looked around. Kamal's stepmother, who was sleeping in a corner, was also nowhere to be seen at this time. Now, nervously I looked at Kamal's family, who were fast asleep. Now I woke up the relatives and Satish as a lotus. Just as Kamal had disappeared, Manish also disappeared. Seeing this, they also became very upset. Everyone is at Manish's house. I started searching for him. There was no trace of him. I started crying and saying that the same thing happened to my friend that happened to Kamal. Satish was also very nervous. Hearing our screams, Kamal's family members also woke up. Not seeing Manish, they started getting nervous. Kamal's grandmother was saying the same thing over and over again. An evil power like my lotus has not taken him away. Now we came running out. Hearing our screams, the neighbors woke up. Gradually, there was an uproar in the whole village. Everyone is looking for the lotus in the same forest. We walked towards it. And it happened just as we had planned. Manish's body was also found under the same peepal tree which was in this condition, the way Kamal's body was found. Seeing this, my heart rate increased. As Satish and I could, we were both so scared that we couldn't even scream. The screams of all those who were there went out. Now the sounds of crying and screaming were heard all around. Everyone was starting to panic. Then some man of the village picked up Manish's body and brought it home. Seeing Manish's corpse, Kamal's family members started looking at him. In their eyes, there were no tears. It's as if they have lost everything. Seeing what had happened to Kamal and what had happened to Manish, they had become living corpses. There was a fear in the whole village about what had happened. Now Satish and I were not in such a condition that we could tell anyone anything. Then Kamal's father looked at us in a hurry and said, "No,
What happened to my lotus? What happened to Manish? I won't let that happen to both of them. That evil power will not harm them. Nothing will do to them. Saying this, he got up there when they started running away. The villagers and relatives tried to stop him, but he started talking about going to the tantrics who lived outside the village. Anyway, his health was not good, but seeing what had happened, the people of the village also started feeling that it would be better to go to that tantric. So that you know what happened. Why have there been 2 deaths under that people tree all of a sudden? Then a man of the village took care of Kamal's father and said, "You stay here, we bring that tantric." Saying this, he assured. But Kamal's father was saying the same thing over and over again. "I will not let you lose my life like Kamal and Manish." Kamal's death was a deep shock. Kamal's mother stood in a corner. She stared at us. Some man of the same village then went to get the tantric. All the people of the village were sitting there talking about all kinds of things. It was early morning. Manish's family members were also informed about this. At the same time, after about 1 hour, some people of the village brought a man who looked like a tantric. It was as if he had meditated and opened his eyes and looked at all of us. He also looked very upset. The people of the village were also surprised to see him troubled like this, because that tantric had rescued the people from the worst of the evil. He was not afraid of anyone. He had a lot of accomplishments so that he could compete with any kind of evil power, black power. But now everyone was shocked and upset to see the trouble on his face. Then the tantric looked at us and said, "No one can save them. The way it has happened, I have been 2 deaths and there will be deaths in the same way. After what they have done, no power in the world can save them. No one, not the power of God, no one can save the power of any devil, because he is so dangerous, so powerful, that he will not spare them, he will take revenge for his insult." Saying this, the tantric started panicking. So the people of the village were shocked. Now don't even ask us what we were going through. The same people of the village again started looking at the tantric in panic, and some people folded their hands and said, "Maharaj, who is like this is sea power. Tell us what went wrong with these children." Now the tantric looked at us and then at our family members and said,
These 4 have insulted the demon Brahma. Hearing this, everyone's senses were blown away. We did not understand who this Brahma demon was and when we insulted him. Then Satish hurriedly said, "No, we do not know any Brahma demon and we have not insulted anyone." Then the tantric said angrily, "This is the problem of people like you, that they do not know anything and you make such a mistake for which you do not know what punishment you will get. Remember that when you went to the forest, a peepal tree was green from the bottom and dry from above. Who urinated on it?" Hearing this, Satish and I looked at each other. The same man we met there at that time was also looking at us angrily. We thought maybe it would have told us. Then Satish hurriedly said, "This uncle must have told you, right? Yes, I suppose a mistake has been made. But Kamal and Manish had mistakenly put the toilet there. But I have been saying that." He looked at the side and said that neither of us had the toilet there. Hearing this, before the whole thing was finished, the tantric said angrily, "No one came and told me anything. I've seen for myself what you guys did. How wrong it is to urinate on a peepal tree like this. You guys know?" Now hearing this, I hurriedly said, "Yes, but we made a mistake. We didn't realize that." Hearing this, the tantric said, "Even if you have made a mistake, you have committed a sin. Because you know that the one who is the people, the tree is green from below and dry from above, neither Brahmarakshasa lives in it, and the peepal tree which is dry from below and green from above, Brahmaji resides in it. And you know that the peepal tree on which you urinated was Brahmarakshasa. There was Brahmarakshasa. Very few people know about Brahmarakshasa. When there is a perfect man who can be a pandit, a priest, a sannyasi, who has a good knowledge of the Puranas of the 4 Vedas, one who has attained all kinds of siddhis, who has died in a different moment, who has an unfulfilled wish, becomes Brahmarakshasa. And there are very few Brahma demons in this world. However, no power in the world is greater than what exists. Every power is smaller than that. A power that can also come to the temple. It can compete with anyone. But no power in the world can defeat him. By the way, These Brahma demons do not bother anyone, but if someone molests or insults them, then they do not tolerate it at all. Knowingly or unknowingly, you have insulted him. That's why so much was happening to you. Now, after hearing the tantric's words, everyone started looking at us nervously. Then some people folded their hands and said, Maharaj, there must be a way to save the lives of these two boys. I think they have made a big mistake, but we can't see them dying like this. Two people have already died and now they are also dead. Someone show me the way. So the tantric said, as I have told you, Brahma is a demon whom no one in this world can end, but yes, he can be calmed down for a while. But the mistake you have made, he doesn't deserve to be forgiven. You will have to face the punishment for this. Now we started trembling. That's when I cried, but neither of us had urinated that day. Hearing this, Panditji said, but he was with them. Then the demon Brahma comes after you, which makes them appear in different disguises. Saying this, looking at Kamal's stepmother, he said, trying to scare them as this. Saying this, he told all the things. Now we were nervous and couldn't understand anything. Then Panditji said angrily, that Brahma demon, until he takes his life, he will not get peace and no one in the world has the power to stop him. Now we started trembling. Now panicking, I was thinking to myself that, oh God, what a big mistake we have made unknowingly. What to do now? Then Kamal's grandmother cried and said, these are children. They have made a mistake. Two children have been brutally killed. Now save them. Now the people of the village also told that whether the people tree resides in the Brahma demon or not, the people tree is not insulted like this. It should be done. Now we were realizing our mistake, but we couldn't do anything even if we wanted to. Then the tantric said, Brahmarakshasa, if you want to stop him, then you have to worship him. He has to be pleased. You have to apologize for your mistake. If their luck is good and the Brahma demon calms down, if they are forgiven, their lives can be saved. Seeing this, we looked at each other nervously, so the tantric gave us a mantra and said that from today morning in the evening, you have to chant this mantra. Now it is your luck whether the Brahma demon will forgive you or not. Now we started crying. At the same time, Manish's family members had also arrived. There was a scream all around. Seeing such a corpse of their son, it was as if they had fainted. At the same time, our family members also came who were crying, and when they came to know all the things from the people of the village, they were trembling after hearing about our lives. Now Manish's family members took his body away. Seeing our life, along with the people of the village, we went to that people tree and started chanting that mantra with folded hands with the people of the village as per the tantric's instructions. Apologize for your mistake. It seemed as if there was a sudden storm.
There were strong winds all around. Seeing this, everyone was very nervous and started apologizing with folded hands. It was already evening. Now Satish and I were very scared that tonight we don't know which one of us will die. Will that Brahma demon forgive us or not? Neither the other people nor the two of us were able to sleep because of the nervousness. Then, in the middle of the night, everyone got drunk and everyone fell asleep. Around 2 a.m., I woke up to a sudden sound and saw that dressed in white in front of my eyes. Absolutely white hair and eyes that sparkled like diamonds stood out like a hermit. Seeing him, I understood that this Brahma was a demon and would probably take my life. So I folded my hands and started chanting that mantra tremblingly. He apologized for his mistake. He looked very angry. But when I started apologizing, chanting that mantra, he went back and slowly that light also went away. Now I woke everyone up in a panic, and the whole thing, the tantric who was with us told me. He told that the demon Brahma has finally taken pity on both of you and has forgiven both of you. We were a little relieved to hear this, but the fear still remained. The next day we again went to that peepal tree, apologized for our mistake, chanted that mantra, and left for our home. There too we chanted the mantra of Brahmarakshasa and apologized to him in the morning, and slowly the days passed. When nothing happened to us, we breathed a sigh of relief. The pain of the death of two of our friends kept eating us day and night, that we wished we could save them. Both of them lost their lives due to an unintentional mistake. We were deeply shocked by all this, and it took us a long time to recover from all this. But never forget that incident. Satish, who was always laughing and smiling. He used to joke at every turn. He had completely changed now. He spoke very little. He used to talk very little. It was as if I had forgotten to laugh and smile, and that was my situation. After what happened to us, we are not even in the PG hostel. It was. We stayed at home because our family members were now afraid to leave us alone somewhere, lest we make a mistake again. We continued our studies from home. By the way, after that incident, for a long time, we lived in fear and suffocation. Every night, we would open our eyes nervously. He would cry when he remembered his friends. And the same way, slowly, time passed, and we too had now started to live with the truth. Then Satish and I got government jobs. We got married. I also had my own family. But we are Kamal and Manish, never forgotten. He was the only one in his family. His grandparents died in his distress, and his father's condition is also like that of a madman. It really pains us a lot to hear about their suffering. But even today, Satish and I did not understand one thing, that what happened to us was because of the demon Brahma, who used to try to scare us in a strange way by taking the form of Kamal's stepmother. It was the deception of the Brahma demon. So why did Kamal's stepmother always stare at us like this? And at night, what was it like standing in the garden, sitting carrying that pitcher in the dark on the other side of the road late at night and getting that weird stuff out of that pot when I bumped in? Because all this was not the deception of that Brahma demon. The tantric had told us about all the deception that had taken place. If nothing was said about this, then what was the behavior of Kamal's stepmother like this? The reason behind all this is that both of us have not been able to understand to this day why she always stared at us. I want to give you all this a big moment of my life. The sad horror is the true story because of how terrible and fatal a small mistake made unknowingly can prove to be for us. We don't even know that. Therefore, you should also make such a mistake somewhere. Keep this in mind, because our lives were saved, but we got the pain of a lifetime by losing our friends. So friends, this was our story today. How did you like the story? Please do tell me by commenting in the comment box. And also, those who haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourself and your family. I will meet you soon with a new story. Thank you.